Do you think BTC is priced in for the halving? What do you think price is going to bottom post halving? Thanks. This is a question we've answered before, but I'll answer this again. Yes and no. So, I mean, not to hedge myself, but yes, short term it's priced in, long term it's not priced in. Because long term, rather, the fundamentals have changed, right? Economics have changed. Supply and demand has changed because supply is going down and we anticipate demand is going to go up. So as a result, we think long term that it's going to go up. However, short term, we'll be going through a global recession. So, I mean, nobody really wants to invest or touch a risky asset in a crisis when they can barely pay their bills, their rent, their mortgage, if we possibly have 20% unemployment. So I don't think Bitcoin short term is going to perform so well. I mean, the models kind of back that up, at least for the next 30 days or so. It's kind of neutral or bearish. However, we think once inflation starts taking off and increasing, and we think, so basically currency risk, and if there's any form of political risk, if governments start confiscating people's money, then those two, that 1-2 punch combination, in my opinion, can really escalate and be the catalyst for Bitcoin and crypto to pump. So I think those two kind of have to happen hand in hand, maybe in different orders or in the same order. But I think that's really what's going to take for crypto to go up. I don't think just halving during a global recession is going to cause people to want to buy Bitcoin. If anything, it tells you, no way. But I think halving in a global recession can be overcome if people become paranoid that whatever country they're in, the government is taking their money or is thinking about taking their money. That political risk. And if they see inflation, that their purchasing power is decreasing, and it takes them a lot more money than before to rent a house, buy a car, buy a loan, buy groceries. If their purchasing power is declining, kind of like what happened in Venezuela and in Argentina, those two, that combination, will overcome the recession that we're in. Right? People will say, you know what? Yes, times are tough, but buying lunch cost me $5 a year ago, and maybe in inflation it's now cost $6 or $7. Or buying groceries, maybe somebody could feed their family on, let's say, $100 a week, and now it takes $120 a week. Maybe they slowly see that things are getting more expensive. That's what happens when you lose purchasing power. So people, kind of like what happened in Argentina, they start finding other ways to not lose their wealth. So Bitcoin and crypto will be a safe haven for that. And it will also be a safe haven when the government, kind of like in Cyprus and other places, thinks about taking people's money from their bank account and tries to confiscate it. Or maybe they're thinking about taxing people. So I think those two things in tandem will overcome people's people who are not inclined to invest in risky assets, because then it's not really a risky asset, it becomes a saving grace. Bitcoin and crypto becomes a saving grace when those two things happen. So right now, crypto is correlated because it's not a saving grace. But once those two things happen, people will be singing for Bitcoin. I mean, so they'll be singing,
"Shut up and take my money! Shut up and take my money!"
Right? So until those two things happen, I don't think Bitcoin is going to take off. So going back to your question, is the halving priced in? Yes, it's priced in. But once those two things happen, like I talked about, to the moon and beyond. But obviously, it is a black swan event with the coronavirus. Nobody has really planned for any of this happening. This is the first time Bitcoin is going through times like this as well. So, I mean, I could be wrong. We could be wrong. Let's see what happens. But always hedge, always have a backup plan. So if Bitcoin or crypto doesn't perform like we expect with those two things, it's good to have other backups. Maybe it's gold or silver or some other asset, right? So always have a backup plan because, I mean, we're going through tough times. Hope for the best, but plan for the worst.